Welcome back to part 2 of Hillclimb Flatout in France, and this weekend you're joining us at beautiful Villefranche-Échevin in the heart of Franche-Comté. For me, this has got to be, I think, my favourite race of the whole calendar. It's such a beautiful setting. You can see behind me we've got the river that cuts right through the centre of the village. There's a few little bridges that go over it. We've got everybody stationed in and around the heart of the village, setting up their cars and their sort of little pit areas. This weekend I'm actually staying just right here in this house overlooking the river, and then in this little square, that's where Team Shouts are set up. So we've got all the cars, the pits area, the trucks, so that's where we all sit and eat and drink and share time together. And it's just something that's really, really particular to French hill climb, that I don't really think there's another type of motorsport where you can have this sort of inclusive environment where everybody's walking around, there's families, children, tourists. It's just really, really special to be able to experience this. It's a whole month since I last sat in the car. With everything that's been going on outside of racing, I've been really busy, and I missed the last race at Beaujolais. So a lot of the drivers have come fresh from that race, and I've had to just jump in the car this weekend, get right on the pace. It's a really tough course here. There's some very, very fast long corners that are quite bumpy, and you can take them flat, but it's a case of just gritting your teeth and hanging on. So here, more so than ever, you really need to find a bit of courage and a bit of bravery. And on top of that, I had the biggest crash here that I've ever had in the whole time I've been racing. Same race, I was in my Formula Renault, and we had some really bad lighting conditions. I turned into a corner at nearly 100 miles an hour, and for a few seconds I couldn't see, and I went straight into the side of the mountain. So you put all that together, and yeah, I'm feeling under a bit of pressure this weekend. And I think the best thing I can do to look at it is just to say, well, I'm in a different car, different conditions. I learned from the mistake last year and just go forwards. And yeah, the weekend started well, really. The main problem for us is the heat, which is often a problem here. And today it's been getting up to nearly 40 degrees. When you're sat in the car for a long time, it gets pretty unbearable and your brain just starts to shut down. So it's not the engine that's the only thing overheating, really. So yeah, it's hard. This morning we started with a dry run, nice and sunny, and we knew bad weather was coming. And when it's like that, as a hill climber, you're under a lot of pressure because you're watching the cars go in front of you, and all the time you're like, come on, hurry up, hurry up. Just want to get one good dry run in. And I got a good time. I improved on yesterday. Was 7th in class and 3rd in the Ladies' Cup. So it was good, but then the heavens opened, we had thunderstorms, and all hell broke loose, really. It's kind of been like that throughout the day, really. It's such a crazy race here. I mean, you know, hill climbing's a crazy sport, but here you have to take some big risks to go quickly. And come the second run, we were driving up in the wet. There was no point in pushing, no one could go quicker. This afternoon it dried out beautifully. The sun was out, it heated up, and I think we all thought, great, you know, we're going to get one final shot at a faster time. The rain was coming. As I pulled up on the line, it was coming down, and I just wanted to try and go for it. I really had the red mist. I went off like a rocket, and I could see the rain was coming down, and spots were on my visor. I didn't know how hard it was actually running, and just kept going and going. And that last drive, for me, really made my weekend, because by the time I got to the top, it was almost like full wet, and I just didn't back off. And I think after what happened last year, for me, just from a motivational point of view, that was a really important thing to do, to just push through my fear and just keep going like that. I was 1 second off my time in the morning, so yeah, my position stayed the same, but from a personal point of view, I feel like I gave it everything, and yeah, I'm happy with the result. Welcome to Mont d'Or Hillclimb. We're here in the heart of the Auvergne this weekend and in such a beautiful setting. One thing with this hill climb is that the weather can do absolutely anything. It normally seems to be two extremes, but fortunately this weekend we've got sunshine, so we're really lucky.
On va là retrouver, c'est Charlie Martin qui donne chaque compétition. Charlie qui...
One thing to mention this weekend is that this is also a round of the European Hill Climb Championship as well as the French National. So we have the top drivers from Europe this weekend: Christian Merli, Simone Fagioli, people from all over Europe. So the competition is tougher than ever. And like Col Saint-Pierre, for the first time we've got 25 cars almost in Classe N2. So it's a tough battle this weekend. For me, I'm really interested to see if I can improve my position. At Col Saint-Pierre I was 9th out of 25. This weekend, well, we're like 6-7 races into the championship. The course here is very technical. While it's not the fastest hill climb, it's really winding with a lot of corners that come one after another, and you've got to get into a good rhythm here. It's my third year, so I'm finding that I do know my way up the hill a lot better than 2015. But also one thing that's really helping is I was at Formula Medicine in Italy last week. I'm working on a lot of driver preparation, focusing on my mental abilities to process things and working on very, very specific exercises to help me think a lot quicker. And it was interesting this morning finding that even in the first run, bearing in mind I've not been in the car for 4 weeks, I got in and straight away I was remembering all the corners coming up one after another. So I think that's definitely helping me this weekend. And it's just a case of pushing and pushing. It's easy to lose time here if you push too hard because you get messy. If you back off, obviously you're not going quick enough. So the trick here is really finding the balance between being aggressive but not understeering and getting the car all out of shape.
We are friends both together, so I think it's a good way to keep us progressing, evolving together, because she's a really good driver. I think we have some qualities to make our driving better, and I think it's a really good chance because we are discussing a lot together to improve ourselves, to improve each runs. So it's not really a bad competition, you know. It's like we are friends and we are trying to help each other. So I think it's a good chance. I am testing a new car this year, so I have to learn a lot. And the fact that she had the occasion to learn really fast this car and be a really fast lady make me improve myself, because I have to try to catch her to be the fastest lady. So this is a good challenge, and for both, because she also won the place, so it's a good challenge.
I'm really happy this weekend to finish fastest lady. It's of all the courses, Mont d'Or's been somewhere that I've always really struggled to find a good rhythm, and for the first time I really found like there was never a point where I was lost in the course, and I was pushing hard all of today. Second run up the hill, I was a bit frustrated. I thought I'd gone quicker, and in fact it was a bit slower. So the last one I went really, really hard, and a few times I thought I was going to crash. I kind of sliding around and losing the back end. It's such a competitive class, CN2. I mean, I finished I think I was 10th in class, but if you look at how many cars were in the overall finishing order, I think something like 8 of them, CN2 makes up the top class of cars basically. So there's some really quick drivers, and yeah, I feel like I gave it everything. I did my best, and yeah, fastest lady to be on the podium, it's a good feeling. You know, when you get to the top of Mont d'Or, it's we've got the view all around us in every direction. You've got mountains, you've got the clouds coming over the top of the hills. It's such a spectacular place, and when you finish the end of the day in the sunshine, cars in one piece, it's a great feeling. You can finally breathe out and relax, and yeah, to be on the podium as well, it's the icing on the cake. So big smiles today.